Oh boy, what's going on, everybody? This is Devore. You are tuning in to the Not for Debate podcast. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and all other major streaming platforms. Also, be sure to go ahead and check us out on TikTok. You know, we definitely got to keep up with the times. This episode of the Not for Debate podcast is sponsored by Bet Us, the online bookie site. So be sure to go ahead and hit that link in the description where you can receive an extra 125% in bonuses. And you just use the Not for Debate podcast link. Got a lot of things to get to this evening. Obviously, we have the Super Bowl 56 betting odds and spreads. Cincinnati Bengals versus the LA Rams, the first ever home Super Bowl. The LA Rams are going to be at home. We're going to be covering the Kyler Murray unfollowing the Arizona Cardinals. Also, the new hires, the new NFL hires. The Houston Texans end up hiring Lovie Smith as their next head coach, and the Miami Dolphins end up hiring Mike McDaniel. Also, the impact of Brian Flores' lawsuit to the NFL, how that possibly have dictated those two hires in the NFL. And also, last but not least, the NBA trade deadline is tomorrow, I believe, at 3 p.m. Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. So, with that being said, we're definitely going to get a deep dive into what could possibly happen from now until an NBA trade deadline. Um, I'll probably say first things first, like Super Bowl 56. When I sit here and I'm just thinking about it right now, like it's been a very, very long journey as far as the amount of Super Bowls that I've actually ended up sitting down and watching. Um, Best one off the top of my head that I could think of would possibly be the I want to say Giants one. Giants versus Patriots. I'll probably say are two of my favorite Super Bowls that I actually sat down and I watched. Um, if I was to pick between the two, those are very the David Tyree catch. That would be Giants, no, Giants and Patriots won. That was definitely a good Super Bowl, but I would probably say Giants and Patriots number two. I feel like that game right there, that was amazing. With the Mario Manningham catch towards the end, and just to see that a quarterback would stick it to Tom Brady, that would probably be that's extra kudo points for me to be in my honest opinion. But probably the worst obviously would have to come down to being the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos Super Bowl. That would be 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Yeah, that'd be 2014 and 2015. So just a quick little rundown of that one. It was the one where the Denver Broncos, Peyton Manning switched to the Denver Broncos, and they're the greatest offense that year. I believe they scored the second NFL record for most points scored in the NFL that year and went into the Super Bowl versus the Seattle Seahawks, the Legion of Boom, props to be top five defense of all time,
Yeah.
Legion of Boom, and they ended up the Seattle Seahawks ended up obliterating the Denver Broncos in that Super Bowl. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking at the beginning of the game, well, after they threw the first pick six, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get it together. Then they end up turning the ball over again, and the Seattle Seahawks end up trotting down the field and end up scoring another touchdown. And I'm like, okay, it's still Peyton Manning. We're still in this game. We have the greatest offense of all time. They're gonna be able to come back in this game, and it just did not end up happening that way.
Well,
So
let me ask you a question. You think that Super Bowl was worse, or the one where Broncos and Panthers? Because that was a slaughter too.
well, if we were gonna if we're gonna put that in the conversation, then definitely we're gonna have to put the New England Patriots and the LA Rams in there too as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say that was boring. Well, yeah, it was kind of boring. Yeah, it was a defensive struggle, but it was. I mean, you would think that the Patriots would do something, but that Rams defense played well. The Patriots just played a little better, but that Super Bowl was boring. I came late? I'm sorry. Is the conversation which is the worst Super Bowl? Is that what we're talking about?
We're just looking back at the Super Bowls that we have watched over the years. This is like just when you sit here and you just think about Super Bowl 56, like
Right.
literally like I would probably say my first Super Bowl that I've actually sat down and I watched from beginning to end and I completely understood what was going on was probably Super Bowl 39. That was the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe that was the New England Patriots' third Super Bowl in a row
Yeah.
that they went to, and that was the one
What
with Donovan
three out of
McNabb.
four? Three out of
3 out
four,
of
yeah.
no. The next year they
Because
didn't go back.
they won two in a row, and then they didn't make the playoffs, and then they won another one against the Eagles. Yeah. Because remember, 2003, it was the Buccaneers. So the Patriots won 2001. They won 2002. They didn't make it in 2003, and then they went back to the Super Bowl in 2004 against the Eagles. The season 2004 season.
Right. Yes, that's right. That's right. Because the year before that, I believe Donovan threw like 3 picks, and that's what elevated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Super Bowl that year. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it's coming back to me. I'm getting old, man. But like I said, Super Bowl 56. I'm talking about Super Bowl 38. That was more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was more than
I
20
think
years
if
ago.
for me the best Super Bowl, is just in my opinion, and I might sound biased, but I mean, come on, the Philly special, Philly over the Patriots a couple years back. That to me that was a great Super Bowl. I think the Patriots and the Falcons was great. The Rams and the Titans was amazing. I know that was that was so far back. But you know what's the most forgotten Super Bowl other than the Steelers and the Seahawks? Nobody talks about the Ravens and the Giants back in the day. I thought that Super Bowl was boring, but that was a hell of a performance by that defense. But like nobody remembers it, nobody talks about it because I mean, come on, who did the Giants have that were I don't know. That Super Bowl was kind of boring, but it was kind of fun to see that defense, the Ravens defense, to me the top five greatest defense of all time in my opinion that year.
Yeah, I agree. And it kind of goes back to what we had the conversation about a couple weeks ago when we was talking about Super Bowls. Like folks don't like the ratings go down when we have these defensive struggle type games where it end up being under 20 points being scored in these games. Like fans want to see points being scored. So we talking about like high 20s, early 30s is what we want to see on the scoreboard for sure. So hopefully we get something like that this Super Bowl, even though I'm kind of I feel like it's going to be one sided, but we're definitely going to get into that. A lot of trades happened over the past couple of days. Did you want to go ahead and do the honors and cover a couple of them, and then we're going to probably talk about a possible one that may end up coming down the pike before 3 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I guess the Pacers wanted to just everyone knew they were going to trade those four guys, whether it's Karis LeVert, Sabonis, Miles, what's his name again, Miles Turner, and it was
Mm-hmm.
somebody else that I'm missing that they were going to trade. I can't remember, but they traded Sabonis to the Sacramento Kings. They're trying to retool. I think both teams won the trade as far as Sacramento and Indiana. The Portland trade though, that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't understand why Portland traded away CJ, and just basically everybody's saying that Dame, should ask for a trade. I think Dame is so loyal to a fault, maybe to himself. He's going to stay for the rebuild, and they're going to retool. But I think honestly, I think CJ belongs in the Eastern Conference. I think he'd be better with the Eastern Conference team. But the Pelicans, man, they're in 10th place. They have a chance to make the playoffs. They got a nice young squad. So I think CJ is going to help them. So that I think they won that trade. As far as the Trailblazers, they're just rebuilding. They're retooling. They're starting over. There was another trade that I'm trying to find out, trying to pull up. Give me 1 second. But as far as the potential trade, there have been some more developments about the Ben Simmons James Harden trade. Philly, not Philly, but Brooklyn is asking for Patty Mills and Andre Drummond for. I'm sorry, Brooklyn is asking for Seth Curry and Andre Drummond along with Ben Simmons for James Harden and Patty Mills. I think that's an even trade because
That's an even trade. Pull the
that's an
trigger
even
on that.
trade. Pull the trigger
Pull
on
it.
that because Patty Mills and Seth Curry they do the same thing. I think Seth is a little better because Patty is older, but still they do the same thing like that. That's I don't think anybody losing that trade to be honest with you.
No,
if that happens.
I feel like at this point, that's probably what the best that you're gonna get for that Ben Simmons trade. Like, there's no first round picks involved in it. Um, it's pretty even. That's why they call it a negotiation. Nobody exactly gets what they want. I'm just happy to see. I just want Ben Simmons out of Philadelphia, and I'm hoping, I'm praying that if a Ben Simmons trade does go down, I do not want him to go to the Lakers. I am praying that he does not
Me
go to the
either.
Lakers.
Me
He
either. Because
does
that's a
not. I
mess
don't
over
care
there
what
too.
anybody says. He does not fit with the Lakers. That is not a team he would fit well with. And
Now,
just
if
have him
LeBron wasn't on
with
the
that.
Lakers, then that would be good. But since LeBron is there, and I can't have both of them. Nah.
I just don't like, even if LeBron wasn't there and you just had your current roster, I don't even see him fitting with that team.
I could
Now
see him
there,
and Davis. That pick and roll would be nice.
yeah, the pick and roll, but like again, where's the spacing at? You still got Carmelo, you still got who's the other center there? Jordan, excuse me. Jordan's still there.
He's still there
So
for some reason. I don't know why.
yeah, so like, and then you still don't know what you want to do with Russell Westbrook, who you benching in the fourth quarter. So with that being said, like I just feel like that just be a nightmare for Ben Simmons at this point. So either again, if the Nets, if the net, I need the Nets in the Philadelphia 76ers to agree to this trade because I like that trade. Seth Curry, Patty Mills, and Andre Drummond. That's a sweet deal. That's a
It's
sweet
sweet
deal.
there. It's sweet there for both sides. I don't think. Well, I think Philly would win that trade more than the Brooklyn Nets, but it still wouldn't be bad for Brooklyn. But that trade would be good. I heard a trade about Eric Gordon going to the Suns. I don't. That hasn't gone down yet. Nope. After that, there's not really any big trades this year. I mean, the biggest trade would be James Harden and Ben Simmons trade, but that hasn't happened yet. And I think the deadline is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Yes, February 10th. So we'll see. We'll see.
There was a rumor before we end up going live about the possible trade for John Wall going to the Lakers. I feel like that would be better for them at this point because they sure free falling in the Western Conference.
I don't think anything will save the Lakers. I don't even think John Wall will save them. The Lakers just need to just hopefully just build around Anthony Davis because if they can't keep AD, I really see him going to the Bulls, and that team will be special going forward. But the Lakers, I mean, they're going to try to compete, but they're not going anywhere. They're done. I think the Clippers, even without Kawhi, are better than the Lakers right now.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. But if the Lakers get in the playoffs, if LeBron and AD are healthy, like 100% healthy, I'm not saying they're gonna win it all, but they'll make some noise. They possibly might get out the first round, depending on who they're playing. Maybe. But after that, I don't see the Lakers doing anything. I don't see it. Um, I don't think the Heat should make a trade. They should stay. They should stay intact. I don't think Milwaukee should make a trade. They should stay intact. I don't think Phoenix should make a trade. Um, I don't think Philly, well, not Philly. I don't think Chicago should make a trade. They should stay intact. Those teams are the four teams that should stay. They should not make a trade. The Suns, if they can get Eric Gordon, because get Eric Gordon out of Houston because he's just dying over there. He needs to be with a contender. So if you can get Eric Gordon, but don't trade your big guys for Eric Gordon, meaning that you don't. There was talks about them talking about trading DeAndre Ayton. I don't know why. They better not trade him. That would be a mistake. But there were talks about trading him. But who would you get back in return for Aiden? I don't know. There's
It,
no valuable
de-
package.
it depends on what the team is. What are the teams on that are possibly trying to make a run at DeAndre Ayton? Well, that needed
Well, they
DeAndre Ayton. Let me ask you that.
they were saying Brooklyn was going to make a run. They were saying the Mavericks were going to make a run because I think the Mavericks kind of lost this trade deal because they have a team set in place. I think Jason Kidd has got them together. They play great defense. The thing is, the problem with the Mavericks are they just have Luka. If you double team Luka in the playoffs, or if you play tough physical defense on him, or make him play defense, the Mavericks are pretty much done. So he needs another star, another superstar to actually compete. They should have got they should have got Sabonis. I think Sabonis is going to waste his talent in Sacramento. Sacramento is nowhere near being a great team. I didn't like that trade for him personally. I think Sabonis needs to be on a better team. But the Mavericks should have got one of those boys in Indiana, and it could still happen. Again, the trade deadline is tomorrow, so we don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, we already know that's definitely not going to happen. I was just sitting here just thinking about the blunders that Sacramento Kings have had over the years.
Yeah.
Started with the extension of DeMarcus Cousins, the extension of Darren Fox. That point guard they ended up trading into the Pacers was I like that point guard. I felt like he was a possibly be better than Darren Fox with less experience.
I think so too. I think, and you know what? His thing was, and I'll look for his name soon. He wanted to be in Sacramento. He was ready to lead the team and be the man. And Sacramento, I guess they just felt that they wanted to get rid of Sacramento. Don't know what the hell they're doing over there. They don't know what they're doing, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
that organization, like they're not a shady organization. They just don't have good people in place to run it. It's a shame because that town, Sacramento, is a basketball town. They love the Kings. They're very loyal, and they've just been not good for a long time. Hopefully, they get back on track.
Does Shaq still own the Kings?
He's, I think he's still a minority owner. I believe so. I'm not sure because he was, but I don't know if he still is. But he used to
Yeah,
be.
I remember he was, but I can't remember if he's actually still involved with the Sacramento Kings because that's like that organization at some point has got to get it together at some point because they definitely had some players in that stadium that were game changers and they wasted their talent. Tariq
Bro, if
Evans.
Tariq Evans, yeah, all them people, DeMarcus Cousins. Then they had Bagley came out of college playing well. They had did they have Willie Cauley Stein? They had him. They had Rudy Gay. Well, Rudy Gay was trash when he got there, but still, they had a decent team after the whole Chris Webber era,
Hmm.
ended. So yeah. What I was gonna say is if the Cleveland Cavaliers can make a complete turnaround and become an actual good team, why can't Sacramento do it? Look at Cleveland, man. They're balling, they're playing well, they have fun. Obviously, Cleveland's not going to win a championship, but the point is you build to that, and Cleveland is on their way eventually, hopefully, to being a great team. But see, like take Cleveland as an example, horrible organization, terribly run, maybe racist owner. I'm not sure. Questionable owner into to an actual decent team. I think they're in fourth place right now. So Cleveland, man, shout out to Cleveland. They actually play well. And Kevin Love is kind of playing decent after last year, and he pretty much gave up on the team.
You
So he's
mean the
playing
last
decent.
couple of seasons?
Last couple of seasons, yeah. Ever since LeBron left, yeah.
so so do we have a list of the celebrity players for was it Friday? Friday's the celebrity game.
I think so. Yeah. No, I don't have the list, but let me. You know what? I actually watched those games. Those games are pretty interesting. They actually it's like an all-star game. They play around, and in the final minutes, that's when they get serious. One dude, what's his name? It was a politician, something Duncan, something Duncan. That was his last name. His last name is Duncan. He was actually cool. And I remember Kevin Hart won like 3 MVPs in a row.
Uh-huh.
Kevin got some game. Remember way back when T.O. played in the celebrity game and he was dunking out there.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah,
All right, so I think Miles Garrett is going to be playing in the celebrity game. Trying to
really.
find the whole roster. Yeah. Says he's about to be playing. Um
Quavo, Machine
Quavo can
Gun
play
Kelly.
too. But
Yeah,
Quavo can
he
play.
actually, yeah. Jack Harlow, Tiffany Haddish is playing. Okay, cool.
Tiffany Haddish.
I guess. Who else is playing? Let me see.
You got Jimmy Allen.
Who is that?
Good question. These are all people I know. I'm gonna read the people that I know.
Okay, Anderson Varejao is playing too.
Anderson Varejao.
Yeah, he's playing.
I remember when T Mac played a couple years ago.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a couple
Okay.
of guys that I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mayor Justin Bibbs. Yeah.
From they're playing. Where's the All Star game in LA?
The All Star game is in
Like the
Cleveland.
All. Oh, that's right, Cleveland. Okay, so they got. That's why they got Miles scared. Okay, makes sense. Okay, I got you. Okay, Cleveland. Some guy named Matt James. He's at ABC, The Bachelor. Whoever that is. They don't really.
These are all like no name folks to me.
That's true. Yeah,
like so Jimmy Allen, he's a singer and songwriter. Brittany Elena, she's a host, actress, and athlete and model.
I know
Machine
who that
Gun
is.
Kelly is a singer and songwriter. Nord Carlock is a Fanatics All-In Challenge winner. Naja Hudson is a Olympian professional skateboarder. Huh.
And Raven. Oh no, that's not Raven. It says Raveneers. I don't know who that is. Singh.
Ranveer
Ranveer Singh. Snai. Okay.
Excuse me,
Not Singh.
Snai.
Not Singh. Sorry.
I'm not sure if that's a man or woman actor, and that's
Oh,
the
Booby Gibson. It says Booby Gibson, Cleveland's Cavaliers legend. That's funny.
okay. So they got Carissa Jackson, the Harlem Globetrotters player, on the opposite team, Team Neek, and then okay. So yeah, Mayor Justin Bibbs is the mayor of Cleveland.
Okay, so Team Neek, like Dominique. Who's Neek? Are they talking about Dominique, like Dominique from the Atlanta Hawks? Because I know Team Walton is Bill Walton, I believe.
Good question. Okay, so basically, I only know about like 4 or 5 people on this list. Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know who Jack Harlow is? It's you know his song, right?
No, what's the song?
You know, it's damn, how that joy go? I like my favorite part is just joshing. I can pass that bitch like Stockton.
Is that
What's that?
That's a white guy?
Yeah, the white guy.
Okay, yeah, okay. I think I heard him before.
Yeah, you know the
But
white guy.
Quavo,
So
out of this list, Quavo is the most, well, besides the NBA players, but Quavo is the most talented guy because he can actually play.
well, we don't know what Miles Garrett could bring to the table because he's an athlete. Like let me see who are the athletes on this team. So Brittany Elena, he's an athlete. Okay, so Derica Hamby, she's a Las Vegas Aces forward, so she plays basketball professionally.
Right.
Nigel Hudson, the Olympian professional skateboarder. We'll see about that one. I already said
It's
Miles Garrett. Booby
just because
Gibson.
somebody's an athlete doesn't mean they're good at basketball. We'll see.
Yeah, okay, but everybody, if you come on now, you got to have at least a little bit of basketball game if you come into the All-Star game.
So, according to shout out to everybody in the chat, Cap for Life, Quinte, what's up, guys? Thank you for coming in. But Dante Zest says Miles always hoops, he dunks with ease. Okay, well, I guess he got some game. That's good. Football players, some of them can transition into basketball. Some of them.
I feel like most of them have played basketball before they made the transition to playing football, to be honest.
Right, because basketball is a lot easier to get into and not as physically demanding like football is. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the ones that actually take it seriously, well, they all take it seriously, but once they notice the growth spurt comes in where they going into that territory of 6'3" and above, that's when they make the transition and make the commitment and stand with basketball opposed to football. Like I wanted to play basketball, but at the end of the day, I wasn't going past 6 feet. I was like, oh, it's like y'all made that decision for me. I guess I'm a football player, huh? So,
and not that short guys can't make it in the league. It's just a little harder for them. So, as you're a young dude, you think, okay, I'm 6 feet or I'm 5'11". It's I could play a tight end, I could play a receiver, I could play a corner. Yes, it's a lot easier when you're shorter to play football than basketball. But there are some short guys that made it in the league. So
name some because I can think of 2 off the top of my head that had made it under 6 feet. 3, excuse me, 3. I can think of 3. You got
Tell me your 3.
Nate Robinson, Muggsy Bogues, and Isaiah Thomas. That's the only ones I can think of.
So Iverson. Everybody forgets that Iverson was only 6 feet. He was just only 6 feet. He was probably 5'11". He's one of the greatest players ever. So I mean, come on, it's John Stockton, second greatest point guard ever. He was only 6'1". I mean, like a lot. It was a lot of short guys that were decent.
So you gave me, so that's 5. That's 5. I totally forgot about John Stockton, to be honest.
Shannon Brown was a great dunker. He wasn't tall. He was like 6'2", 6'3". I'm okay. I'm just saying, like short guys have made it and played well in the league. I mean, David Robinson was in the league for like 12 years, and he was just on every roster. He was a great backup. So short guys can make it. It's just a little harder. That's all.
I hear you. I hear you. Definitely to motivate the younger, the shorter guys. Hey, never say never. Um, I did want to transition the to Kyler Murray real fast because I know we ended up having a conversation about Arizona and Kyler Murray as far as moving forward after the 2021 season. What are your thoughts of Kyler Murray unfollowing the Arizona Cardinals social media pages?
Oh shit, that happened. I didn't even know that. Why? But why would Arizona get rid of him? Like I don't understand. I thought they went all in for him. He's the future of that team. No.
Well, the speculation is that it's contract related. We're coming up on that year 4, which would be technically
Mm.
the final year. The Arizona Cardinals have the option to pick up the 5th-year option for Kyler Murray. And I'm assuming that they kind of dabbled in the contract extending conversation, and they probably told him that we're not going to extend you until after this year, this 2022 year. So I guess this led to. I'm assuming this is the new modern thing. What people do is they just unfollow their team just to it's just to ruffle some feathers. I'm assuming. But well, yeah,
Mm.
what's your thought process on that?
Well, everybody talks about if they get rid of Kyler Murray, then who are you going to replace him with? You always have to have a backup plan. You can't just, oh, we're going to get rid of you. We're going to change it. Like, so, okay, so who are you going to replace him with? I think that after that ankle injury, it affected him. And after that, his game kind of slowed down. Of course, I think he can recover. I think, again, we're talking about short people again. Short people are short, small people in football don't really last. But this guy has enough talent to be good. So I wouldn't give up on him. I mean, like if you can, because I don't know what's gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers, but if you can find a way to trade for A Rod, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if that's realistic. But other than that, who else can you get for him? Like what kind of quality quarterback can you get to replace that? I don't know. I know you're not really sold on him.
At this point, no, because
I just think his size is an issue. His size and then prone to
it's a big
injury
issue.
is
It's
right.
definitely
Yeah,
a
I get
big
it.
issue, and it showed in that playoff game versus the Rams. Like it's a big issue. Like Kyler Murray, once you see pressure, you're you're done. Like I would just keep it like just go say it straight up like that. You're done. Like once you see pressure, the Los Angeles Rams were literally chasing him down during the course of that wild card game, and they made him obsolete during the course of that game. Now, you made the point about the Arizona about Kyler Murray and the ankle injury, and I agree with you 1,000%. Like I don't think that Kyler is durable enough to last a
Mm.
17 game season. Well, now we're at 18 games, 17 or 8, 17 games. So yeah, I don't think he's durable enough to last 17 games. And it goes back to last year too. He missed some games last year due to a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken, and he ended up missing games last year. So what Kyler
Well, let
does
me ask you a
is,
question.
what's up?
No, I just okay. So before the ankle injury, how did you assess him
I,
before
I
the ankle
felt
injury?
I felt I felt Kyler Kyler was very, very explosive. The Arizona Cardinals and Kyler were very, very explosive. And then, of course, the other thing is after I probably want to say after the first probably 7 weeks, that's when they were unable to move the ball. Now, is that and I strongly believe is not because of DeAndre Hopkins being hurt. Now,
He has
DeAndre
something to do with it,
Hopkins
though.
is yeah, he's a big factor, but
Right.
still, you still had some game changers on your team at the receiver position with Christian Kirk and Rondale Moore and AJ Green, even though AJ Green ain't the same AJ Green. And then you added Zach Ertz to the mix with the trade with the Eagles, and you still weren't able to move the ball. So I think that's more prone to the the offensive scheme that who's the head coach? Oh my goodness. Um, the head coach is drawn up for the Arizona Cardinals, and it doesn't help that Kyler Murray, once the pocket collapses, Kyler is so short, he's got to keep stepping back until he's able to see over the offensive line. And if once the pocket collapses, he's got to break camp, and he may end up missing somebody open if he ends up taking off. And with that, Kyler tries to get himself out of harm's way because if somebody puts a serious lick on him, it's over. Cliff Kingsbury's the head coach. So
Okay,
he
I got I
ends up
got I got
protecting
another
himself.
question though.
What's up?
I got another question. So again, you guys are more football guys than I am. So wouldn't a run pass offense would be good, or just play him in a shotgun most of the time, like keep him safe? Like, wouldn't that be a solution, or that wouldn't
Well,
work?
well, what they run right now is a spread offense with a lot of RPOs and read options and stuff like that in there. So
Right.
after that, really, you're really limited of what you can do with Kyler because he's so short and he's not durable enough to be taking hits. Like he's the only quarterback that I've seen that he's literally slid when he leaves the pocket where he has nowhere to go with the ball. I don't like. Obviously, he'll throw the ball away if he has the time, but he'll literally slide and he will not take the hit. He will not take a hit, which is smart.
Russell. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which
Go
is
ahead, man. I'm sorry.
smart. But your inability to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball to somebody with a split second before you end up getting hit, I could see that posing a problem for the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray in the future.
So, would you think he can't play football anymore?
Well, he does have the option of possibly going to play baseball. That was always on the table. His commitment to football was always on the table when he came out in the 2019 draft. If he was going to stay, if he was going to be committed to playing football, or was he going to be? Did he want to go play baseball? Obviously, baseball you make a whole lot more money in baseball. So
Right.
I
It's
wouldn't
safer.
I wouldn't cross that out. I wouldn't cross that off just yet of the possibility of him transitioning to playing baseball because again, like just 2 years back to back, where I've seen that the Arizona Cardinals have just sputtered out towards the end of the season, where be the offense is just unable to move the ball. Kyler Murray hasn't been durable enough to be able to finish the whole season. It's just a whole lot going on, and I think at this point, I think it's a very very tough offense to change with Kyler Murray. Like you had to run a very very specific offense. It kind of reminds me of what the Denver Broncos did back in 2014, 13 and 14, what they did when Tim Tebow when Kyle Orton ended up getting benched. They ended up scrapping the whole offense and catered to what Tim Tebow could do, where they added in a whole bunch of blocking tight ends to make it work with Tim Tebow. That's kind of like the same thing that they're doing with Kyler Murray. Like they bought in specific player personnel for them to be able to run a specific offense. So every quarterback can't run that. So they got to be fully committed to Kyler Murray moving forward with the Arizona Cardinals. Is if they decide to, I'll both got the fourth year. So once you hit that fifth
Well,
year, then there's the decision time.
well, I have another question because there's another guy in his division who's also short. Russell Wilson. How was he able? Because he's been in the league since what 2012, and he's been able to last. Is it because Russell is a little bigger, or because he's a better player? Like, if Russell can last that long, why can't Kyler Murray last that long? I'm just saying.
Well,
Just a question.
Russell Wilson, he's very good at improvising outside of the pocket. So most of his completions can come outside the pocket. Also, if you remember early on in his career, uh, he relied heavily on Marshawn Lynch, and then once he ended up getting the confidence to be able to stand firm in the pocket and be able to go through progressions, you saw Russell Wilson develop as a pure quarterback. But as he's getting older now, you starting to like last year before the season started, you heard him complain about the offensive line not being able to protect him, and now
Right. Yeah.
we're hearing about the fact that he wants to be. It's a possibility that he may end up being out of Seattle due to the lack of creativity on the offense. So
Look, you see Cap's question.
Yeah, is
He just
Arizona
mentioned
and
it.
Seattle going to be the drama story this offseason? Yeah, Seattle's definitely going to be.
Mm,
It's going to be a tidal wave because we don't know what. Well, we already know what they're going to do. If they didn't fire Pete Carroll yet, they're going to end up sticking with Pete Carroll, and they're going to try to figure out what they want to do with Russell Wilson moving forward. Are they going to try to end up pulling a Green Bay Packers type of situation where they try to mend fences, with like they did with Aaron Rodgers? I could see them going in and doing something like that, but I feel like at this point where you saw Russell Wilson come back from the finger injury this year, he is 100% done with Seattle. He's ready to move on and possibly go to a different team.
I don't think Seattle. I mean, they're going to be a story, but I don't think that's the drama. I think the drama is going to be up in Green Bay. What is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? He put a lot of pressure on himself. But come on, man, we have to get to the topic. You can't skip over this. I have to hear what you think. What do you think of the Dolphins hiring Mike McDaniel as the new head coach? Tell me. Go ahead, man. You got the floor because I got to listen to this. I wish Quinte was on the line too, but go ahead.
So okay, so Mike McDaniel. All right. So obviously that was the excuse me, the San Francisco 49ers, another NFC West division rival of the Cardinals. The 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel was a run coordinator with the 49ers when he started 2 years ago. Then he ended up getting promoted to being the offensive coordinator last year for this year for the 49ers. Didn't call the plays. Now, with the allegations coming out with Brian Flores filing the lawsuit for discrimination and all that other stuff, I feel like at that point, the Dolphins were backed into a corner where they ended up having to make a choice. You only had two choices because Jim Harbaugh ended up going back to college, when ended up being committed, going back to Michigan, and then Dan Quinn opted out. You have Brian Daboll; he ended up going to the New York Giants, even though the Miami Dolphins lined up a second interview with him. And then Dan Quinn ended up going back to the Dallas Cowboys as the defensive coordinator. I don't think he was really too appealed. Well, this Dolphins job wasn't appealing. So you basically had to scrape the bottom of the barrel with these last two candidates, where it came down to Kellen Moore and Mike McDaniel. Now, Kellen Moore, I that was an automatic no for me. I feel like he's just way too
Yeah, I know.
inexperienced as an offensive coordinator. Like, this is his first year as offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, and their offense has been vanilla at best. There's nothing unique about it. It's pretty basic. So it came down to Mike McDaniel. That was the lesser of the two evils. Mike McDaniel was definitely the lesser of the two evils. Now, what the Miami Dolphins are trying to do is they're trying to bring back the defensive staff, and then just have Mike McDaniel work specifically with Tua and try to make the Miami Dolphins offense somewhat comparable to Tua at this point. And it kind of reminds me of what the Dolphins did back in 2000 after the 2015 season um, with Joe Philbin. There was a report out there, I believe it was the 2014 offseason, where they were, excuse me, that where Joe Philbin, the Miami Dolphins head coach at the time, he was fed up with Ryan Tannehill, and he wanted to be all in on drafting Derek Carr in that draft, and everybody else in the Miami Dolphins organization wasn't on board with that. They wanted to be committed to Ryan Tannehill. And then Ryan Tannehill ended up signing that $90 million contract extension. So they were forced to be committed to Ryan Tannehill. So they ended up firing Joe Philbin after the 2015 season, and they ended up bringing up Adam Gase. And Adam Gase at the time was regarded as the quarterback whisperer due to what he did with Peyton Manning. Even though I feel like Peyton Manning was a class of his own at the time, and then exactly what he did with the Chicago
Jay
Bears
Cutler.
with Jay Cutler, what he did for them, where he was able to take them to the conference championship, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the exact same situation. Obviously, Brian Flores didn't think too highly of Tua, so
So he got to
we
go.
call it what we call it whatever we want. All we have is
Right.
speculation right now. Um, I guess we'll wait and find out what that whole situation was coming down to. But
But to answer Cap's question, does Ross get away with the scandal?
no,
Pretty
no, no,
much.
no,
I
no, no,
pretty
no, no, no.
pretty much not get away, but nothing seriously is going to happen. I think that draft picks are going to go away and maybe a fine, but that's about it. Like I don't think
Depends
it's
on who the witness is. Well, let me put it like this: Okay, so Stephen Ross, we have two allegations. We have the 100,000
Right.
for each loss, and then what was the other allegation? I can't remember that one off the top of my head right now. Was discrimination wasn't involved in that one
Discriminate.
for
No,
the
no, no, no.
Dolphins. So
I think it was
it's just
just
100,000. It's just a hundred
just 100,000.
thousand.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, if the witness could provide, well, if Brian
Oh no,
Flores
no, I
could provide
got it. I
proof.
got it. It was reaching out to Tom Brady. The
Okay,
tampering.
okay.
The
Yeah,
tampering.
the
Yeah.
tampering. Okay, yeah, the tampering. So yeah, if they can prove that, then yeah, definitely. They could definitely strip. They could definitely
That's
strip the
enough to
Miami
strip his
Dolphins.
ownership.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You like, come on now. You're basically you at this point. You're basically point shaving at this point because if you're able to get
Eh,
the upper hand as far as in the gambling aspect of things, like that could that literally like somebody could actually freaking sue for that if we're being 100. Somebody could really sue. Surprised nobody has sued yet.
So I don't know if you saw the comment. Ross brought a gambling website the same year as the Bible.
Oh
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
he done. He's done.
yeah.
If he bought a gambling site, yeah, he's freaking done, yo. He's done. I feel like he's
I
done.
still don't think he's going to be stripped of his ownership. I think it'll be heavy fine and some draft picks away from the Dolphins. But other than that, I mean, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's enough to say you can't be the owner of the team or forced to sell the team. We'll see.
He's
Just run it.
let's
Go ahead.
okay. So go ahead, go down. So basically, you was trying to bribe the head coach to lose games for 100,000. You're basically dictating the game. That's a no. I don't know what the consequences are for that, but I'm thinking that's strike one right there. And then number two, tampering. That's an absolute no. You cannot do that. So I feel like there should be no lesser consequence than Stephen Ross being stripped of the team. Now, after we've been okay, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about the Houston Texans ended up signing Lovie Smith as their head coach, but also I wanted to ask you, do you think the Brian Flores discrimination lawsuit dictated the Miami Dolphins hiring Mike McDaniel and the Houston Texans hiring Lovie Smith as their head coach, considering how they're minority coaches?
Well, Mike McDaniel's a minority.
Yes, they said that he has black in his family. I believe it was his father.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's news to me. I possibly, I mean, maybe to just get the media and the world off the NFL's back. Hey, we can hire minorities. We're not as bad. I don't know, but I think Lovie Smith deserved another chance. I think he did very well, in my opinion, with the Bears. So the Bears, to me, are not a good organization, and he pretty much was the team and was the leader of men. So Lovie Smith was a good hire for the Texans. I think Brian Flores would have been a better hire, but Brian Flores ain't getting no job anytime soon. So yes and no, yes and no to that answer that question.
Okay, so I was going to say because like who really wants the Houston Texans job? Like, come on now,
That's true.
like
That's true.
that's a
But
franchise in straight up turmoil right now. Who would want that? So that we're just going to pass this along to the black guys to go ahead and give it to the minority guys.
That's a good point. I hear you on that. But
so they could screw it up.
And then use them as a scapegoat, just like what the Dolphins did with Brian Flores. But if you look at it on a positive side, let's say they're able to keep Watson. Watson with Lovie Smith. You don't think that would be a good combination?
I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're keeping Watson after this.
You don't think so?
Like the beef. Oh, you wasn't here when we had Spitz on here for the pod. Like, so he's a Houston Texans YouTuber, and he was talking about the general manager, Nick Caserio, came from the New England Patriots, and I believe the consultant in the organization is Jack Easterby, who also was from the New England Patriots, and it seems like those two that pair right there are the big issue in Houston. So that what's causing Deshaun Watson not to want to be there anymore. So I feel like as long as those guys and also the owner Bob McNair's the son. Bob McNair is in position. He's not going to want to stay in Houston.
Okay, well, I guess Lovie Smith is there to fail. That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate. But
Well,
I think he's
he like,
actually a
again,
good coach.
he still has the opportunity to right the ship. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to give up hope on Lovey. I love Lovey too. Like his ability to get the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl with a quarterback in Rex Grossman,
That yeah, it's
and
true.
is able to coach a phenomenal defenses. Like he had the Chicago Bears winners for a consistent amount of years.
He did. I think he's a decent coach. I think that he would be great. Obviously, Watson and Stan. But let's say, what if they get rid of those two guys? Do you think that would make or the damage is too much? It doesn't matter who's there. Watson
Can't
leaving.
do
Like
it.
there's no possible way that he stays in Houston.
I don't think so. Because like again,
Okay.
like it comes down to the owner. What the owner says is what, and everything. Whatever he says goes. So
Right. Yeah.
Jack Easterby is his right hand, and then you have Nick Casario is right underneath is the general manager right underneath the owner. So he's not going to remove those two guys for a player. If he hasn't done it yet, he's not going to do it. So at this point, I don't see that happening. And if just to go back to Brian Flores real quick, like I don't even think he was going to get that job after he just ratted out Bill Belichick.
I don't think he. Well, is that considered ratting out Bill Belichick? He just. No, I don't know.
Oh, I see. I didn't say this before. I didn't say this before because we were so focused on the detail of it. But
right.
I'm sorry. I'm just not a believer in people sharing text messages to the public. I feel like
I agree. I agree.
That's very private, and I feel like that's kind of weak if we're being 100 with each other. So,
but you know what? To his credit, well, I want to say to his credit, I think he shared the text message to prove a point in his case. But still, I still don't agree with sharing text messages or making it public. That should be between you and whoever you texting. So yeah, I agree.
1,000%. And
for his case, though, he wanted to share his case, and that's yeah.
You think he asked Belichick if he could share the text messages?
You mean I mean, I think he should have, but I don't know if he did. He probably didn't. To be honest,
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Yeah.
So, like, if he was to ask him for his consent to share those text messages, then yeah, like he could have.
Yeah.
The way he should have did it was he should have said that he had proof that Brian Daboll got the job, but it really didn't say exactly that he got the job. You know what I'm saying? It said it's looking like you're going to get the job. It wasn't actually a guarantee in the text message, and I feel like that's where people get a little bit confused with that. And I was thinking about it all week this week about it too. Like when we look at the lawsuit based off the highlighted stuff, I really don't even think Brian Flores really has a case outside of the bribery with the Dolphins and the tampering. The discrimination part, I'm sorry, I don't think he has a case.
I disagree with that. I think that he has a case with that. I don't. The thing with that is you don't think he has a case. I think he has a case. I just don't think he's going to win the case. But see, winning the case is not the point here. The point is the case in general. He's bringing light to the discrimination of the NFL. So I think it doesn't matter if he wins or not. I just think he's bringing light to the situation. But just to transition a little bit. Any thoughts on the Super Bowl? Like any, pre-thoughts? I know it's Sunday. Do you have any thoughts on the Super Bowl at all? Do you have any winner? Can you pick one, or are we going to wait for that for Saturday?
Let's go ahead and just go over this. We're approaching that 50-minute mark. I didn't even know. So the Cincinnati, we're gonna do this today because this is our usual betting odds and spreads day. So Cincinnati Bengals versus the LA Rams. Rams are a 4-point favorite right now. Cinderella story for the Cincinnati Bengals. I will say I'm pretty sure nobody, including myself, was expecting the Cincinnati Bengals to advance to the Super Bowl. Let alone
I didn't even think they were going to win the division. I thought the Ravens were going to win the division. Yeah.
Right. Uh-huh. Oh, well, I didn't think the Ravens were going to win the division. Actually, you know what? I did think the Cincinnati Bengals were going to win the division.
Okay. Okay.
We're gonna have to check the tape. Uh, but yeah, nobody was expecting the Cincinnati Bengals to make it to the Super Bowl, but I feel like the Rams, when they made the trade for Matthew Stafford, which they were Super Bowl or bust for them at that point. It literally, it's
Matthew Stafford was Super Bowl or bust? I don't think so.
Yes, when they made that trade, when the Rams made that trade for Matthew Stafford, it was Super Bowl or bust for the Rams.
I think it became Super Bowl or bust when they got Von Miller, in my opinion.
I'm just, the Rams haven't had a first round pick, I want to say, for the past 4 seasons. And they traded another first round pick for Matthew Stafford. They were all in. They were going all in on the Super Bowl with, you see, Dante agrees. So yeah, they were going all in on a Super Bowl this year for sure. So they reached the ultimate goal. They just have to finish this thing off. Now, if we sit
and what
down,
a story would be.
I want the Bengals to win. If we're just thinking out of feeling, I want the Bengals to win. I want Joe Burrow to win. I don't like Banks' team being in the Super Bowl. I want Banks to be upset. Obviously, you don't see Banks here today. He has another engagement to attend to today. But I want the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. That's just me.
No, you see, I like that with Banks. I want his team to win. I just think that the better story to me is Cincinnati winning. I mean, think about it. The Rams are playing at home in the Super Bowl, which I don't even remember the last time that happened. So it's like that would be one of the biggest upsets in sports history if the Bengals are able to win this game. And I like Joe Burrow, man. He has some swag. That boy is just so confident. Like he's not arrogant with it either. He just knows that he's good and his team is ready. But man, I mean, to get sacked 9 times and find a way to win that game, I just like that team. That team got some spark. And if they don't win it this year, I don't know. Well, I mean, they gotta fix the offensive line. Their defense is a little suspect, but I think this is their one chance to actually win it. I think the Rams, even though it's Super Bowl or bust, I think they can win. Even if they lose, they can win a Super Bowl in the future. But I don't know. I just, me personally, I want the Bengals to win, but I'm not like you. I don't want to see Banks mad. I hope his team wins, but me personally want the Bengals to win.
Don't remind me, Cap. I really, Jesus. I want to see.
He did call it.
Banks ain't even gonna show up on Sunday at when we have that pod on Sunday. So if they lose, but if we just looking at it schematically, I hate to say it, but it's almost impossible for the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. With
the Rams are the better team, clearly.
They're definitely the better team on paper, more talented for sure. Yeah. Like I'm just so concerned about that offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals' ability to protect Joe Burrow, where they have Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller. Like that's definitely going to be that's going to be a lot to handle with that weak offensive line. So I know they got some weapons: Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, but that's
the thing is he going to have time to get them the ball. He's going to have time to get them the ball.
Exactly.
I think maybe the Bengals might switch it up. They might switch it up and run the ball more. But can you run against the Rams defense?
You're not running against the Rams. Come on now, with Aaron Donald in the middle, that's not happening. I don't see it.
It's going to be hard for the Bengals to win, man. It's going to be hard.
I definitely agree with Dante. You got to use Mixon, but I would probably think they would probably get Mixon involved in the screen game more than anything, take a lot of pressure off that pass rush. But I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep rolling with Burrow. I'm gonna go ahead and money line them. I believe the money line is about 170.
The smart bet is to go with the Rams. That's the smart bet and take the points.
So you're gonna take them to cover the 4?
Hell no! I'm taking the Bengals. I'm going with the upset. Give me the Bengals to money line. I'm with the Bengals all the way. Bengals. Give me Cincinnati.
Give you Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely
Going
going
with
to
the
be
upset,
interesting.
man.
It's definitely going to be interesting. But again, as far as the Rams are concerned, I think the X factor in this game is going to be Odell Beckham for sure, because they're going to put
Oh,
their
that's
primary
true.
focus on Cooper Kupp. He's had an amazing season, and it just leaves Odell Beckham open to have an amazing game. And he's had an amazing story to this season as well, with the whole Cleveland Brown situation,
Right, yeah.
with having people pick sides too. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, he was seriously
That's
picking
true.
sides. Like, he was like, "Are they taking Baker or are we taking Odell?" I'm rolling with Odell. I know when somebody good and when somebody not good. I know it was Odell. The receiver is a very, very dependent position. And if the guy's getting open and you're missing him, there's something going on there. And he's your primary option. Like, there's definitely something going on there.
Right.
So yeah,
Definitely.
Odell is definitely the X factor in this game for the Rams offensively. So it's definitely going to be interesting.
I hear you.
How
So
about
you're
C
picking
Cap?
Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati for the money line. Cap disagrees. Hey,
He definitely disagrees.
yeah, he definitely disagrees. I'm assuming he's going to be taking the Rams with the 4 points, but
Again, the Rams is the safe bet. That's the smart bet. That's the Rams are the better team. They got the
at
better
home,
defense. They got the at home. So yes, that's the safe bet. But I'm telling you, this it might be an upset. It's gonna be a big upset. But I don't know. The safe bet is around, but I just want the Bengals to win. That's just me.
it's a Cinderella story. I like these kind of stories, and if for the Cincinnati Bengals to come into the Rams home, it can't be any more perfect than this right now for me. It really can't.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
uh,
listen. After all this shit, wait. After all this shit you and Banks been talking about this season, you're going back and forth, and he's been right most of the time.
that's
If the
bullshit.
Rams lose, oh my god. No, but listen, if the Rams lose, oh, you got to go at you got to go at him. You got to go at. You got to release all that frustration. Banks versus DeVore. I love seeing that.
He was. You know what's funny? When they ended up
What?
losing, I believe they lost like what 2 games in a row. He lost all faith in his Rams
Right.
at that point. He lost all. I know you remember he came up here that one time and he was like extremely humble about it. He's like,
Yeah,
"I'm going to
yeah.
take." And every other time he would elaborate. He would literally take 5 to 10 minutes to elaborate on how the Rams are gonna win, what they were gonna do to a team, and everything. And then after they went on that 2 or 3 game losing streak especially after that Titans game, he became extremely humble and he just been quiet. He was quiet, and then he
He's
just started
quiet
talking again. He didn't start talking again
until
they
December.
clinched the
Until
playoff.
December, yeah,
Until they clinched. Until they clinched the playoff spot. That's when he started
yeah.
talking again. So I'm like, okay. But if they lose, you better believe it. I'm gonna be ready, and he better show up too. He better show up.
But if they win, you got to show up too. You know that, right?
When do I not show up? I'm always here.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
always here. When the Packers lost, I was here. When the
Yeah.
Titans lost, I was here. There's only been one inconsistent thing going on here. One inconsistent thing. Even when the
I can't
Dolphins
wait for the
beat
Super
him
Bowl,
last
man.
year, he was not here.
Yeah.
Did you have any final thoughts before we end up closing this thing out? We just approached the hour mark.
I just want to say that Ben Simmons has every right not to want to play in Philly anymore. I think Joel and Doc threw him under the bus last year, so he has every right to not want to play. I get it, but my thing is, moving forward. If he goes to a team, if somebody says something that he don't like, what you gonna do? Quit again? Like you when you work in a job, you're not gonna like everybody you work with. Like, dude, like he has to still work on his mental. I get that he doesn't want to be in Philly anymore, but let's say he goes to Brooklyn and somebody says the wrong thing. Are you gonna just not work?
play the whole season. Like, you can't do that. You have to work through these issues. So yes, he's right for feeling that way about Philly, and yes, he has every right not to want to be there. But to sit out the whole season, like, dude, you can't do that again. Work on your mental work, whatever it is that's holding you back. Work on it. Work through life. There's going to be issues. There's going to be people that you don't like that you have to work with. So what? Suck it up. You're a grown man. Deal with it. That's it.
I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't have an issue with people criticizing him. I feel like it was how he was criticized in the public. That's the only issue I think that he has.
So what? So
you
what?
Can't. Gee, you
LeBron,
can't do that.
But dude, no, dude. People, you know how much people talk about LeBron? You think he goes crazy or takes it? Like, come on, man. People talk about you all the time. So what? Get over it. Get over it.
Has anybody on the Heat when LeBron played for the Heat, or anybody on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Pat Riley criticized. Pat Riley basically told, after they lost to the Spurs, he said, "Listen, don't everybody run and go to another team. Let's stay put. Let's run it back again." Like, Pat Riley pretty much told LeBron,
that's not the same thing, bro. We gonna stay here. We gonna regroup and we gonna come back. Come on now. Embiid literally went there on the podium and they asked him what was the turning point of the game. He said when somebody passed up a layup. That's what he said.
Well, he was telling the truth. He was telling the truth. He has every right not to be in Philly. But you can't do that going forward. Like, you have to have a thick skin. You are a public figure. You're playing in the NBA. People are going to talk about you. Get over it. Get over it. That's all I'm saying.
The media can do it. The media can do it all you want, but you're in the locker room with your brothers. It's a brotherhood. You can't throw your teammates under the bus. That's something you don't do.
I know you can, but you can't also quit and not do the thing that you love.
Oh yeah, once you that's the code. That's the code of the locker room. You can't throw your teammates under the bus. That's the number one code in the locker room. You can't do that. So once you broke that code,
don't be too sensitive and quit on your team.
I said, as a man, don't be sensitive. Hey, at that point, you like when you're in the locker room with a team, you're supposed to be able to trust the man.
I get you.
And once somebody betrays that trust, that's it. And like, you lost the trust with Joel Embiid when he made that comment, and then you lost the trust in your head coach when he made the comment where they asked him the question, "Do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons?" So Ben Simmons lost all confidence and trust in his head coach and his co-best player on the Philadelphia 76ers. So at that point, if you don't have trust in a relationship, you don't need to be together.
Listen, Shaq and Kobe had so much beef, and them motherfuckers won 3 championships in a row.
They didn't criticize each other publicly.
You can fight. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. Yes, they did.
They didn't criticize each other publicly.
Yes, he did. Kobe called Shaq fat, and he wasn't ready to go. One of them seasons, they start. Come on, man. I don't want to hear that. Yes, he has every right to not want to be in Philly. But moving forward, if Kevin Durant says something about Ben Simmons, what are you gonna do? Sit out for the whole season because he hurt your feelings? No, man. Stop. Hey, as long as you
respect the code. As long as you respect the code, that's like almost like if I went in public and I said something mean to you about you without telling you to your face. That's like the same thing. Like, I feel like that right there is strictly between us. I'm gonna keep it in the confidence of each other. That's how it's supposed to be.
Right. I'm saying it's right on both sides, but going forward, you can't keep doing that. You can't just keep quitting every time somebody says something you don't like. That's all I'm saying. That's the point of what I'm saying. That's it.
I agree with you, but you can't mess up the relationship though. That's something you don't do. There's lines you cannot cross in relationships.
I agree, but again, Shaq and Kobe was able to do it. I'm just disappointed because Joel and Ben, when they're on the court together, that defense was just so special. And it's just so unfortunate that they couldn't find a way to work it out, because I believe if they would have continued, they possibly would have won a championship together, because that tandem, that pick and roll, and that they would shut you down on the perimeter, in the paint. Like, I love the Philly when the 76ers when they were together, but now it's getting it's breaking up, and it's just unfortunate. Like, that could have been one of the greatest two-man tandems in the NBA history. But
I feel like that ship sailed when that ball was bouncing on the daggone rim for 7 times.
You talking about Toronto? You talking about Kawhi?
Yeah, I feel like that was the chance to win a championship right there, and Kawhi spoiled their parade. That was their year. and
That
Kawhi
was a big
spoiled it
shot. Yeah.
clearly. But I was gonna say Saturday, look out for the bat signal on that one because it's Valentine's Day weekend. I know I
That's
got
right.
plans. I don't know. You got plans Valentine's Day weekend? Like, what's going
Hey
on?
man, I finally got me a little special thing, so I got little plans. We'll see.
Okay, so yeah, so you got plans Valentine's Day weekend too. So you guys make sure that you guys stay safe this weekend. Be sure to get the I don't know what's the flower of choice that we going with this year for Valentine's Day, G?
Oh, ain't nothing better than a rose. I'm getting a rose.
Just a rose?
Just one rose, and you can rub it down
Bro,
your
we
face.
gotta we gotta do it big. It's all about the dozen.
Mm, I'm getting one rose, and I'm gonna do something with that rose.
One rose, bruh. Okay. One rose. All
Yeah.
right. So with that being said, again, this episode of the Not for the Bay podcast is brought to you by Bet Us, the online bookie site. Be sure to click the link in the description where you can receive over 125% in bonuses upon each. Excuse me, and 125% in bonuses for each transaction. Also, be sure to follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and on our Twitter. We just recently added a TikTok page. This is the Not for Bay podcast. We up out of here, man.